Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Okay, so if you watched my last Wednesday's video where I was doing a use it or lose it, I pulled these items out of the little container for my use it or lose it box and set them aside for this week's video because these are pieces of aluminum tape, and I think this is as well that I was gifted, and that these were embossed and this was die cut. And so I thought, you know what, that is something we should play around with. So I do in fact have some like foil tape. You get it at the hardware store. I needed it because I had some plumbing work done that required him to cut into the insulation panel at the back of my AC unit kind of thing, and so I needed to tape up the piece that he had cut out. So, but if you don't have aluminum tape and don't want to go out and buy a giant roll of this stuff, you can also use aluminum foil, which you may have in your kitchen. So I am going to show you what we're going to do with the aluminum foil is, let's take out a piece, yay biggish. And I'm sure there's going to be some glare because we're working with metal, but that really can't be helped because we're working with metal. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to smooth out my aluminum as much as possible and just glue it to some cardstock. Now, I don't know how well art glitter glue is going to do for this, so we're going to give that a try and see how it sticks. And I also think I'm going to grab some score tape because that is another option for attaching our aluminum to some cardstock. And then I'll just trim off the excess. It actually seems to be sticking pretty good. But let's do one with the score tape as well. I'll show you how that goes. And my widest score tape is 1/2 inch, so it's gonna take a bit to get the whole thing covered. Now, it depends on what you're gonna do with it, whether you need to actually cover the whole thing. If you're going to die cut it, you're gonna wanna cover the whole thing with adhesive, because otherwise what'll happen is you'll die cut it and pieces will lift up. So maybe we'll do this one as a die cutting piece, and we'll go all the way across with the tape. And yeah, you're seeing my fingerprints in here because I have inky fingers from, I've been tea dyeing, so it probably lifted some of the color from that off my fingers. And let's put down some tinfoil. All right, I'm gonna write on the back of this so that I know this one's for die cutting. And because I cut down a piece of 8.5 by 11 to 5.5 by 4 1/4 pieces, because that's my standard card size and it's a good size to work with, let's go ahead and cover 2 more. So we got 4 sheets covered, and I think I wanna try this one. Will they fit this way? They will. All right. And don't worry, this is like my craft room roll of tinfoil. Because yes, I have a craft room roll of tinfoil versus a kitchen roll of tinfoil. All right, what I want to try on this one is gluing it on because there's a, you know, if you look at the tinfoil, you've got a slightly more matte side and a slightly shinier side. So let's give the matte side a try. Oh, and I forgot to put the pin back. Ooh. Hey, at least this time I caught that I had bumped my camera and we're back in the right position. I apparently didn't put the pin back in here, and I also seem to have misplaced the pin. Ah, here it is. Now you can kind of see the glue lines on there. I don't know how well glue stick would work gluing this on the tinfoil on, but you could try that because that would definitely get you a smoother, evener coat of glue so that you don't have the little line showing up. But since I'm planning on embossing this, I'm not all that bothered by that. And then let's do this one with the score tape, and we'll just do score tape in a few spots instead of across the whole thing this time. Yeah, you can see the tape for sure on here. I'm going to emboss this so that should help the tape lines disappear. Now you could also, if you were wanting to recreate the tape effect, just adhere some aluminum foil to some score tape. You know, just peel it back, put some aluminum on it, and go from there, or tape sheets. I don't have anything big enough, like I'm not going to do a 1/2 inch strips to do that, so I'm not going to do that, but I am going to grab the roll and emboss a few pieces of it as well while I'm at it. So probably should have measured that out better because that's going to be too long to fit in any of my embossing folders. I can guarantee that. Yeah. So I am going to go ahead off screen and do all of the embossing and die cutting and that sort of stuff. And then we'll come back and I think we're going to pull out some alcohol inks and ink some pieces up. So I'll be back in a minute. All right. So I've gone ahead and embossed and die cut my pieces, and the embossing folders I used are, this is a Holtz Sizzix, and I forgot to grab the name and the number, but I'll leave it in the description box down below. I think it's like Tapestry or something like that. And this is a 3D embossing folder, and I did these pieces, which got very nicely embossed, and so that's the tape. Then I also used, this is a Sizzix Tim Holtz Alterations really old embossing folder, and it's, you know, the old style of embossing folder, and I did a couple pieces of the tape and a base piece. I did another 3D embossing folder, and it's Simon Says Stamps, and it's SP336. It's Fanciful Flurries, and so I got those. And then Darice, which I don't believe Darice is in business anymore, and it's a really old one that's leaves, and I embossed this piece. And then I die cut out a bunch of keys and locks, and this is a DoCrafts die set, and I think it's called Lock and Key. So those are all the pieces I did, and then I've still got these two pieces over here. And I am going to pull out my alcohol inks and have a bit of a play with my alcohol inks to ink these up. So let me move stuff out of the way. I'm going to grab my glass mat. Okay, that's about as good as I'm going to be able to get with not having glare, but having enough light to see by and not having horrible shadows and all that fun stuff. And I've got my alcohol inks out. My blending tool. I've got a couple that don't actually fit in there, so I'm going to pull everybody out. So I've got all of my inks out. All right, let's see. Let's start with our leaves, we're gonna go autumn colors, and I'm gonna grab Sunset Orange, got Butterscotch, Sunshine Yellow, gonna grab Rosewood and Cranberry, and I'm just gonna start adding ink to my blending tool. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of alcohol to the tool just to get everybody moving a little bit better. And we're going to ink. And I think this is the matte finish. Yeah, this is one of the ones I did the matte side on. So we're going to see how they work. And now I think what I'm gonna do is add some rosewood, do a decent amount of it, and see what happens if I lightly swipe. I can get it just on the raised bits. Don't think it's doing anything. All right, let's add a little alcohol to here and see what that does. Nope. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. There we go. Now we're getting a little bit more color in. And I feel like I need to toss in a little bit of green. And I think I'm gonna grab some Willow, which is kind of a browny green. Just add a little contrast in there. And I'm just gonna use the same dowel or piece of felt. Not really getting any green look going. All right, let's see what happens if we do a few drops in a couple spots. I think I may want, let's see, what else do I want? It needs something, I feel like. Maybe a drop or two of mushroom. Just give that a second to reactivate everything around it, and then I'm gonna come in with my dauber and spread it out. Oh yeah, I think that was what it needed, just to add a little bit of contrast in there. All right, so there's our first piece, all inky and embossed. Set that aside. I'm gonna cap stuff so that I don't spill it and clean off my desk. All right, the flurries I'm gonna do in blues. So let's pull out some pretty blues. I got Sailboat, Pool, Turquoise, Glacier, and some Aqua to lighten things up. And we're just gonna basically repeat the same process. I'm gonna put a little bit of each color on. And I think this time I'm gonna give the piece a spritz of alcohol. Now I'm using 91% isopropyl alcohol. in my little sprayer, there is a blending solution that goes with alcohol inks. You should not put that in the sprayer. It has resin in it, so it will stick to your insides. And I remembered after doing this that what I really wanted to do was do a mixture of non-traditional colors for this. So I'm going to add in a couple drops of Amythist. So we're going to get some purples in here. And Flamingo. Now let's see what happens when we blend them in together. Add a little rubbing alcohol to that to really get it moving around. Add a pink over here and add some more amethyst over here and a drop there. Add some alcohol to get it really moving, and I'm just gonna tilt a little and then come in with my blending tool and take most of it off, it seems. I don't know how well it's showing up on screen. Oh, it's showing up a bit better on screen than it is in real life. So I think I've got a few more spots that need inking. All right, so that's got a whole bunch of cool different colors in there. I think I like how that is, so I am gonna set that aside, clean up, and move on to my next pieces. All right, for these two pieces, I've grabbed Currant and Slate. Don't know that the slate's doing much of anything except lifting the ink off. All right. I think those are good. I think I want to go greens on this. And I'm going to grab lettuce and citron, or citrus. See, I'm not going all that fancy with some of these. I just want to add some color so that they're ready to be used on a project. So yeah, I just wanted to add color. Nothing too terribly fancy about those pieces. And then the last set I'm gonna do, we're gonna go rust. We're gonna get a rusty effect going on. So we've got this piece,
and these two pieces, and I also want to do it on the keys as well. So I've pulled out a bunch of colors. I've got Patina, Stream, Juniper, Mushroom, Lake Mist, Teakwood, and Rust. So we're gonna see what we can get mixing these colors together. And honestly, I think I'm just gonna, and now we're gonna get a side-by-side comparison, because this is the matte side and this is the shiny side of the, whatchamacallit, tin foil. No, this is the tape, not shiny side, sorry. Never mind, but this is the shiny side of the tape, so we'll see how that does. So I'm gonna add my blue colors. For these pieces, I'm gonna have to use the dauber because they're too small to try any other way. All right, I think I am going to give them a spritz to get the inks moving, and just kind of come in and start daubering around and see what we get. Yeah, the colors definitely, I don't know how well you can tell. Let me see how well you can see. It's definitely more intense on the shinier versus the more matte of the back of the tinfoil. This definitely needs more color added to it. Let's see. Let's do, I kind of want to just like let it move. I'm just kind of tilting it to get it to move along the lines of the piece, and then just kind of tamp it down a little bit. And then I think we're gonna grab, that was the Teakwood. Let's do a little bit of the Rust over here. Just get it to run along the lines. Just tilting it to get it to spread out along the line of the embossing folder. And then just kind of knocking it back a little with the dauber. Let's get some patina going. See, let's do some mushroom over here. Let's put a little lake mist on and get it running down the line. Gonna get a little bit more intense blue going on with some stream over here. Maybe do a little over there. And again, I'm just tilting it around to get it to move. That needs, I think, a little of the rust. Let's put that here and here. Get it to move. Kind of hard to angle this so that you can see it on camera, I suspect, but yeah, I'm just kind of tilting, getting stuff to move, blend together. I'm gonna add a little bit of mushroom here and a little over here because that blue is really intense and I do want it to tamp down a little. All right, I think I'm done with that piece and I really like how it came out. Let's see if you can see all the rusty grungy goodness. I actually think I like the matte side better than how the shiny side pieces of the tape is coming out, but we're gonna play around with them a little bit more, just give them a little bit more oomph. Let's do a little rust there and rust there and let it move around. And actually let's multitask. Let's add some patina over there. Add some, I think this is mushroom. I think those are good, and we're just gonna work on getting our die cut pieces inky. Might as well lift some of the color off the mat. All right, I'm gonna have a bit of a cleanup and then I'm gonna show you what we did. Okay, so I've cleaned everything up and here are all of the pieces we made. So we've got this one. And this one. And this guy. And these pieces, which are the tape. And these are the tape that someone sent to me. And these are the tape. Those are all, these pieces are all the aluminum foil. And then we've got the die cut keys. So we've got all of those lovely die cut keys and locks. You know what? I think I misplaced one because there's a teeny tiny key that I don't even remember inking. So I may have dropped that at some point. I'll have to go looking for it to see if I can find it. But that's all for today. I found it. It was stuck to my leg. So I'll have to go in and ink that up. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.